Jay and Rebecca Logan recently became parents. Now, the entire life of the spouses revolves around their daughter, Kayla. They were a happy family, but one day, everything changed. Kayla, who is 15 years old, is being dropped off by the mother and her new boyfriend. The young ballerina doesn't want to go to the dance camp, but her mother insists. Kayla was met by her father and his new girlfriend, Trini. Rebecca and Jay are already divorced, but they maintain communication for the sake of their daughter. Kayla suffers from asthma, and her emotional state is not any better. On the way, Kayla noticed her friend Brittany at a bus stop and asked her father to stop. Brittany joined Kayla and her father. The girl really liked the song playing in the car. Jay revealed that it was his musical group in which he was the lead singer. Kayla was clearly uncomfortable seeing Brittany openly flirting. At one point, Brittany said she had to go to the bathroom and asked to stop the car. The girls went out together. Jay waited for them for quite a while. Worried, he went to check if everything was okay. Suddenly, a scream was heard. Jay ran ahead and saw his daughter sitting on a bridge over a fast river. He asked what happened and where Brittany was. Because of the shock, Kayla couldn't say anything. Realizing what had happened, Jay ran down and searched for Brittany in the river, but she was nowhere to be found. Kayla only found Brittany's small pink purse. In panic, Jay rushed to the car, intending to call 911, but the daughter stopped him, confessing that she pushed Brittany. Jay couldn't believe it. When a truck drove by, he told his daughter to hide so no one would notice them. When the truck left, Jay immediately took his daughter away from here. Rebecca didn't expect to see the ex-husband at her workplace. Jay was extremely nervous, repeating that they needed to talk, but Rebecca wouldn't let him get a word in. Learning that the ex-husband hadn't taken their daughter to the dance camp, she was angry. Although the father told her to stay in the car, Kayla went out to the playground. Due to stress, it was difficult for her to breathe and speak. The parents took Kayla home. When Rebecca received a call from the dance camp, she said their daughter was sick. Jay wanted to take Kayla with him, but Rebecca said she would look after her herself. She doesn't know what happened, but the strange behavior of her ex-husband and daughter speaks for itself. Rebecca insists that the daughter should go to the camp tomorrow, as originally planned. In the end, Kayla confessed to everything. Rebecca was speechless. Finally, Jay could have an honest conversation with his ex-wife. He is convinced that they should hire a lawyer, but Rebecca believes that it won't help them because it wasn't an accident, it was intentional. So, if Kayla is arrested, she will be tried as an adult. Rebecca planned to go to the river to find Brittany. She still has a small hope that the girl was able to survive. Jay stopped his ex-wife, saying it's pointless. They can't help Brittany, but they can help their daughter. No one saw them there, so no one will ever know the truth. Rebecca hasn't decided how to deal with the situation and asks Jay to leave. At night, Rebecca couldn't sleep, pondering what to do now. On one hand, what happened to Brittany is terrible. On the other, Jay is right that they must protect their daughter at any cost. The fast river holds their secret, but for how long? In the morning, Rebecca woke up from a nightmare. Kayla offered to make breakfast. When the doorbell rang, Rebecca almost dropped the plate. It was Jay. While Kayla was making omelets as if nothing had happened, the ex-spouses went outside to talk. Rebecca is perplexed as to why their daughter is so calm. Jay believes it's the result of shock. When Rebecca asked if anyone saw them yesterday, Jay mentioned the truck. But in his opinion, there's nothing to worry about because they managed to hide. Jay said that from now on, they would live as before. But Rebecca isn't sure if she can. The ex-spouses didn't know the daughter was overhearing their conversation. Kayla tried to run away, but the parents stopped her. Kayla threw a tantrum, screaming that it wasn't an accident. She had intentionally done it because of her father. Unable to handle it anymore, Jay left. Seeing school children crossing the road, he cried. Their lives will never be the same. Hearing the doorbell ring, Rebecca opened it. On the doorstep stood Sam, Brittany's father, who said that Kayla and Brittany had not arrived at the camp. The man was sure the girls had planned this together and run away. But Rebecca replied that Kayla was sick, and she allegedly knew nothing about Brittany. Sam told her that he had an argument with his daughter the day before, and she was supposed to go to the camp by bus, not with him. Sam also asked for permission to talk to Kayla, but Rebecca said her ex-husband supposedly took their daughter to the hospital. Sam left his phone number. Throughout all this, Rebecca was barely holding back her emotions, feeling guilty. When Sam left, Rebecca broke down in tears. However, there was no turning back. After calming down a bit, Rebecca left a voicemail for her ex-husband asking him to call back urgently, but instead she received a call from Brittany's father. Rebecca ignored it. However, Sam continued to call. Rebecca had to ask her daughter to call him back and tell him she didn't know where Brittany was. Kayla refused. Suddenly the doorbell rang again. Rebecca hesitated to open it, and then the ringing was replaced by a persistent knock. Rebecca and Kayla pretended they weren't home. Suddenly, the front door opened. It was a relief for them to hear Jay's voice. Rebecca told Jay about Brittany's father's visit. Sam is an engineer who's divorced, and his relationship with the daughter was complicated. It was clear that Kayla wanted to be caught. Her parents couldn't allow that. Jay suggested putting their daughter in a hotel for a couple of days to give her space to distance herself from everything and come to her senses. Rebecca didn't argue. They packed Kayla's things and were about to leave. Sam came again, wanting to talk to Kayla. Rebecca lied that their daughter was still in the hospital. Jay came out of the house, confirming that their daughter wasn't home. But when Sam saw Kayla on the porch, he realized that this family was hiding something and demanded to know where Brittany was. A fight broke out between the men. Sam intended to go to the police. Their shared predicament brought the ex-spouses together. Jay mentioned that he saw a bruise on Brittany's face that morning. Realizing where Jay was going with this, Rebecca said she couldn't go along with it. Jay suggested framing Sam to divert suspicion from Kayla. Rebecca hesitated for a long time, but ultimately agreed with her ex-husband. If they did nothing, they would lose their daughter forever. Rebecca went to the police station, where she used to work. In a conversation with her former colleague, Rebecca expressed her concern for the daughter's friend, who had gone missing a day ago. She also mentioned that the friend's father had visited them today and acted aggressively. Kayla and Brittany used to be best friends. It's hard for Kayla to think about that now. Jay decided to have a heart-to-heart talk with his daughter, confessing that he was scared. The father tried to convey to her that this wasn't a game, and if she didn't want to go to jail, she had to do whatever her parents said. Only they could protect her. Kayla started crying and admitted that she had always envied Brittany. Unlike Brittany, boys had never been interested in Kayla. Rebecca interrupted the conversation, saying that her former colleague wanted to talk to Kayla. Detective Kenji Tagata asked Kayla to tell her about the bruise. Kayla said that Brittany often complained about her father, who would frequently get angry with her. While saying this, Kayla was barely holding back her emotions. The parents were afraid she might say something unnecessary, but Kayla was acting according to the plan. Before leaving, Kenji told Rebecca that Sam hadn't reported the disappearance. In the detective's opinion, he was involved in Brittany's disappearance. Later, Jay asked his daughter if what she had said about Brittany's father was true. This turned out to be a lie. Now they all had to lie to protect the family. Jay intended to stay the night at his ex-wife's house in case Sam returned. Jay apologized to Rebecca for not being there all these years. After their divorce, Kayla stopped being a happy child. Perhaps if they had preserved their marriage, the worst would not have happened. Throughout the night, Sam had been searching for his daughter in the vicinity. The detectives were already waiting for him outside the house. They were curious as to why Sam hadn't reported the disappearance right away. Sam assured that he had tried, but he wasn't taken seriously, reasoning that teenagers often run away. However, the detectives weren't convinced. The fact that Sam was Pakistani only fueled their suspicions. In the morning, Kayla was in a good mood. Seeing her daughter and ex-husband goofing around, Rebecca couldn't help but smile. Rebecca was going to work, not at all opposed to her ex-husband staying in the house. However, both her father and Kayla came to him because he had planned to change clothes. But Jay had completely forgotten about today's rehearsal. Trini, his new girlfriend, was indignant. They had an important performance coming up, but Jay didn't seem to care at all. Trini also found a little pink purse in his car and demanded to know whose it was. Realizing it was Brittany's purse, Jay lied that it was Kayla's. Of course, Trini didn't believe him, so Jay firmly demanded the purse back. Offended, Trini left. Inside the purse was Brittany's phone. Learning that his daughter had gone somewhere, Jay became worried. When Rebecca was leaving her office, Kenji and her colleague Rodney Barnes approached her. The detectives mentioned that they had talked to Sam, who was genuinely upset about the daughter's disappearance. They had also spoken with neighbors, and none of them confirmed that the man had been temperamental. But that wasn't the worst part. The police had managed to trace Brittany's phone's location through cell towers. Apparently, that morning, she was in the neighborhood where Jay lives. Rodney Barnes asked Rebecca about how her ex-husband got along with the daughter's friends. Rebecca found herself in a very difficult situation. Sam saw Kayla on the street and asked where Brittany was. He still believed that the girls had started some kind of game. In tears, Kayla said that she didn't want anyone to get hurt. When Sam asked what that meant, Kayla screamed and ran away. However, Sam continued to chase her. Kayla ran to the house and locked herself in. Almost immediately, the doorbell rang. Kayla realized that Sam wouldn't back down until he knew the truth. The girl had an asthma attack, but she tried to remain quiet. Waiting for Sam to leave, she used her inhaler. However, Sam didn't leave and continued to persistently knock on the windows. Rebecca returned home soon after and found her daughter unconscious on the floor. Fortunately, Kayla was okay. Worried Jay arrived a minute later. He couldn't understand why his daughter had run away. Upon hearing from Rebecca that the police had tracked Brittany's phone, Jay said it didn't prove anything. However, Rebecca had a different opinion. The ex-spouses began to argue. At one point, Kayla shouted at them to stop. In tears, she admitted that she was a terrible person. The girl realized it was all her fault. Rebecca hugged her daughter. All she wanted was to leave the past behind and move forward. The detectives arrived at the same bus stop where Brittany got into Jay's car. Kenji wants to find out who is lying, the Logan family or Sam. Perhaps the fast river holds the answer to this question. The detectives paid a visit to the Logan house. They were interested in whether Jay was on the bridge that morning. Jay denied it, stating that he went to Rebecca's office right after Kayla had an asthma attack. Detective Barnes provided printouts of emails from Brittany's computer. It turned out that the day before, the girls had argued over a boy from their school. It seemed that Brittany had taken the boyfriend away from Kayla. This gave the detectives every reason to believe that Kayla had somehow harmed Brittany. The inhaler found on the road confirmed that Kayla was on the bridge that morning. Canines are already searching for her. Rebecca chased the detectives out of her house, but both Rebecca and Jay understood that the detectives would return and arrest them all. Rebecca stayed by the daughter's side all night. She and Jay had done everything they could to protect her, but it seemed like it wasn't enough. Deep in the night, Rebecca drove Jay to Sam's house. Jay buried Brittany's purse and phone in Sam's yard to frame him. Seeing that the lights on the first floor went out, Rebecca called Jay and told him they needed to leave, but Jay wasn't done yet. Rebecca walked around the house, trying to figure out where Sam was. Suddenly, he appeared from behind and, not letting Rebecca leave, demanded to know where his daughter was. In desperation, Rebecca called out to her ex-husband. Seeing Sam restraining Rebecca, Jay attacked him. A fight broke out between the men. Rebecca barely managed to pull her ex-husband away. Sam said he knew what Kayla had done, and the parents were covering for her. Rebecca and Jay hurried to escape. Rebecca drove ahead, and when she saw Sam on the road, she didn't stop. It was the only way to silence the only witness. Wounded Sam begged them for help, but they didn't show any mercy. The water would cover all their secrets. There was no turning back. In their desire to protect the daughter, the former spouses took someone else's life. It united them like never before. The family had breakfast together. Rebecca cried and couldn't stop. Kayla said she was running late and left. Rebecca and Jay would have to clean the car to hide the evidence of the crime. That's exactly what they started doing. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Brittany entered the house, asking if Kayla was home. The former spouses were speechless. Brittany admitted that she just wanted to spend time with her boyfriend, and Kayla had agreed to help her. The girls had staged this performance together. Rebecca and Jay remained silent. Realizing that things had gone too far, Brittany hurried to leave. The former spouses realized that everything they had done had been in vain. When they approached the daughter, Kayla could tell from their faces that her parents knew. Kayla started making excuses, saying it was Brittany's idea. Kayla had another reason not to tell her parents the truth. A common misfortune brought them back together. Kayla simply wanted them to be a family again, as they used to be. Rebecca and Jay hugged their daughter. They were all crying. There was a knock at the door, and the sirens of police cars could be heard.